Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the February 9th Ask Jeffrey Live. This is our 11th edition, and I want to welcome everyone who is tuning in today. We have a lot to go over from previous Ask Jeffrey Lives and also the videos I have while I've been on the road. And we have been on the road a lot lately. So let me first start off with, let's see. We had a couple of questions. I wanted to go ahead and answer these. Some of them I did answer, but I was going back and researching. One was from Jenny, would you support statewide mail-in elections like Oregon has? And yes, Jenny, I would support that. However, what I want to do is make sure that any type of mail-in election that we may have, that it is actually secure and that what we're getting in return are true ballots. So I would continue to look into that to see what their pros and cons are for a statewide mail-in election. I know it would save a lot of money not having polls, but we need to also ensure at the same time that our elections are still secure and that we look at the entire program to ensure that there is no theft of ballots and so on. So again, I am interested in looking into that, and if it is something that is viable and secure, then yes, I would support that. So let's see. Stats asked, do you support lowering the voting age to 16? I am still doing research on that. My first thought is actually no. However, before I make a firm stance on that, I'm going to continue looking at the pros and cons of why we would lower it to 16 and what would be the benefits of that. So before I give a hard stance on that, Stats, I'm actually going to continue to do some research on that. So thank you very much for that. Jenny wanted to know also, is there anything that can be done to legalize casinos in Texas? And yes, it is a great revenue source. We're losing a ton of money to New Mexico, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and I believe that we should actually look into our gaming system and bring casinos to Texas and use that as a revenue source in order to fund education. And unlike the lottery, I don't think it needs to be a 50-50 split where half of it goes to education, half of it goes to the general fund. All casino profits and revenue would actually go towards the education system that we have. As well as by bringing in the casinos, we would also be creating jobs, which is wonderful. So thank you for that. And it would also increase our tourism dollars. It would also increase our ability to hire more people. And plus it would be a great revenue source. So I believe we're losing too much to the 3 states that surround us. So I would advocate for the legalization of casinos and all money, again, going to Texas. I mean, of course, to Texas, to education, excuse me. Jenny also asked, we need a different option other than Louis Gohmert, and I believe I'm saying that correctly. When does he come up for re-election? And actually, all U.S. congressional districts are up for re-election this year. So he is actually up for re-election now. And on the Democratic side, in the primary, Brent Beal and Shirley McKellar are in the primary to replace him to run as the Democrat on that side. So please get out and vote and look into Brent Beal, B-E-A-L, and Shirley McKellar, M-C-K-E-L-L-A-R, and look into their campaigns and get out there and vote. And then again, whoever receives the nomination, November 6th of 2018, get out there and vote Louis out. So thank you, Jenny, for that as well. Kelly wanted to know, how do you feel about the memos that Trump released? Well, from what I understand, he's only released one so far. I have unfortunately not been watching the news in the last day or two, other than the government shutdown and the stock market plummeting. So I'm not sure if he has decided and I can ask, I have people here with me today. Has he released the Democratic response, the memo? No, not yet. Okay. So he's actually, what's that?
He hasn't read it.
Oh, he hasn't even read it. Okay. Well, there's probably big words in it.
It's too long.
Yeah, I think it's 10 pages?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a novel to him.
It's War and Peace.
Yeah. So he's only released the one memo from the Republicans, and of course he's using that as propaganda to say that he is innocent of anything, no collusion. But we all know that that's not true. So how do I feel about it? First, I believe in full transparency. If you're going to release one, you need to release the other. We'll see how that turns out. I think the greater issue that we have with these memos are the fact that the memos have classified information in them. I know they're trying to redact a lot of it, which is a good thing, but from what I understand, the Republican memo did not go through the process of redaction through the FBI, and I have a huge issue with that. But I know that the Democrats actually submitted their memo to the FBI for any redaction if they thought it was information that shouldn't be released. So I at least applaud the Democrats for at least following the process. But we'll see if he's going to actually release the Democratic response to the Republican memo. Deborah asks, do you work with the Janelyn Sanchez campaign? She's running for Congress and she's a dedicated woman for Democrats. Yes, I know that Jana, if I'm not mistaken, there are either 3 or 4 other opponents also running against Jana. And however that turns out, whether it goes to a runoff and then May it's decided, or whether it goes to someone wins it outright on March 6th, the nomination, whoever wins, we will, and we look forward to working with whoever is the nominee in that area. So thank you for that question. And then, pardon me, y'all. Let's see. Jessica asks, are you for stiffer sentences for sexual assault and sexual crimes against children? If so, what do you have in mind? I'll be honest with you. We are pulling that information right now as far as what the sentences currently are so that we can make a recommendation on where we stand. I believe that any sexual assault or sexual crime against a child should not go unpunished in the least, and believe that but I don't know what the current laws are for that. So we are still pulling that information, and once we have more information, we will go from there as far as our recommendations. So I thank you for the question, but just know that we are currently looking into that. My policy team is actually pulling that information so that we can see what is currently in place so that we can actually make a recommendation on where we stand and what we will advocate for as your governor. So thank you for that. Do you think lethal injection, perhaps? Actually, Jessica, no. I'm actually against the death penalty. So that may be my first thought. But however, I don't believe that we should go as far as lethal injection. So, but I can understand the thought behind that. But I am not an advocate for the death penalty. So those are some previous questions that were asked that I was not able to answer. And I do understand that we're still doing some more research on some of those topics, and to make sure that when we give a stance or give a policy, that we are well informed of what is currently out there. So let's see, Deborah, do you think we should, do you think we will see several runoffs within the primary? We have so many candidates in some of these races. Yes. In fact, I know that, like with the one with Jana, if I'm not mistaken, there are 5 total in that congressional district. This was the year many Democrats stepped up, and I'm proud to see that. We have more Democrats running than we ever have before. And that's incredible, because when Democrats actually run for office, that fires us up to get out there and vote. So yes, I believe there will be, especially in a lot of these races, even my race, it will more than likely go into a runoff. I don't believe anyone will get that 50% plus 1 vote. So who our runoff opponent will be, I'm not sure. it'll be either Andrew White or it'll be Lupe Valdez. But either one, I look forward to running against them in the runoff. But we know that we will be at least make the runoff. We don't win it outright on March 6th. So thank you for that, Deborah. But yes, I do believe that we will have several runoffs. And it's unfortunate in a way because that's money being spent for a runoff in a primary that I believe that money would be better spent running against the incumbent or the Republican. But that's the way the system is set up, so that's what we have to deal with. So thank you again, Deborah, for that. I actually had a question the other night, and Monica asked me the question, and I went and met her yesterday in Italy, Texas. And she asked me about the Light Up Texas program, and I had not heard of that program myself personally. And I did not know what it was, and I told her I didn't know what it was, but it sounded like a Christmas festival. Needless to say, I was incorrect. And Light Up Texas is actually an assistance paying program to help individuals pay their electric bill. And so it was actually discontinued in August of 2016. And I do believe it's a wonderful program that should be brought back. It was only done during the high, what I would call the high temperature months. And we do need to bring it back in order to offer assistance to those individuals who are in need of having a fair electric bill due to having to run their air conditioner because it gets rather hot in Texas. And so I do believe we need to bring that back so that we can actually assist those individuals who need it. And also, if anyone is interested in starting a Christmas festival called Light Up Texas, obviously I'm in support of that as well. So again, if you can ask all your questions, and happy Friday to everyone. But ask your questions here. You can email your question to AskJeffrey@jeffreyfortexas.com, and the 4 in Jeffrey for Texas is the number 4. It's not FOR, it's the number 4. So please send in your questions there. Now, Kara, was it Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday that we did the Twitter Live? Wednesday. Tuesday we were in Mid-Cities. But we did a Twitter Live. It was called the Twitter Town Hall. And that was very different. It was the first one we had done. We'll continue to do them. But we were able to answer questions. And it was just interesting because we had to keep everything, I think, 240 characters or less. And I think y'all have watched enough of my videos now to know that I don't say anything in 240 characters or less, much less 240 words or less. So that was very interesting. You had to get right to the point. And I want to thank my team, Kara and Justin, for assisting me with that, because I would give my long-winded answer and they would condense it to 240 characters. So I appreciate both of them for that. But it was just another avenue for us to reach out to a group of individuals who like Twitter. So let's see, Matthew. Oh, thanks for joining us, Matthew. What are your feelings on Lupe not wanting to debate you? That's her choice. It's her campaign. But if someone isn't going to debate me in the Democratic process, the Democratic primary, how in the world are they going to go against Greg Abbott? And that's what we're prepared for. I've been begging for debates, and we've been reaching out to people to see if they'll hold debates, because we want debates. And UNT, I have to give y'all a shout out. Y'all actually were trying to put something together. You had invited myself, which we had accepted. You had invited Andrew White, who had accepted, and you invited Lupe, and she declined. When she declined, a few hours later, Andrew declined. So UNT debate was canceled because I can't debate myself. That would be an interesting hour and a half. So, but because I believe that I still wanted to go to UNT and speak with everyone there, we're actually creating our own event on the 17th, which was the original date they wanted to do it. And we will be up in Denton, actually having our own rally. and meeting with all of y'all. So we're very excited about that. But I do want to give a shout out to UNT for actually trying to do something and trying to be a part of the democratic process, and debates are part of the democratic process. So a shout out to y'all, and thank y'all very much for doing that. And thank you for working with us and getting our event up there on the 17th. Now, when it comes to the SMU debate, which is on the 20th, we actually have a few of the candidates coming in. I know Andrew White, myself, Tom Wakely, Adrian Osaguda. Say again? Osaguda. Thank you. Sorry, Adrian. We have a couple of, I think Cedric Davis is also part of it. So I look forward to that. Unfortunately, Lupe declined or didn't respond. I'm not sure, but they are moving on without her. And again, this is her own backyard, SMU. I mean, it's Dallas. And I'm not sure why she would decline. So,
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the debate sold out at SMU?
At SMU, yes, the debate is sold out as far as I know. So, but we will actually be live, Facebook living, or whatever you call it, on our webpage. And I'm sure there are many, many other individuals who will be there who will be Facebook living the event. We will also be live tweeting from the event. So if you're a Twitter fan, we'll be tweeting live. And if you're a Facebook fan, we will actually be filming the entire debate. So yes, thank you for that question, Justin. Lynn, I don't do Twitter. I understand. I'll be honest with you. I'm a Facebook kind of person. I'm not a big Twitter fan. In fact, when we first set up our campaign account on Twitter, I got it shut down and marked as spam. So now I get to look at Twitter. They don't let me actually touch it. So Deborah, would you advocate bringing back the TRCC to oversee builders and construction? You bet. We do need to oversee builders and construction in Texas to ensure that not only are the buildings safe and secure for occupancy, but also to ensure that we are actually, pardon me, we aren't building in such a manner that we're creating floods of either the building that they're building, or that they're building higher up, which is putting everybody else at a lower level. And unfortunately, now they're going to start flooding. So we need to bring that back. And Deborah, thank you for that question. And I will advocate for that, hugely advocate for it. Let's see. What about League of Women Voters for a debate? I'm not sure if the League of Women Voters has decided they wanted to do a debate or not. I will actually have my team reach out to them and see if they're willing to do a debate as well. So we shall see. Let's see. Oh, I did want to remind everybody very quickly, February 12th, which is Monday. I want to compliment my campaign manager on his typing skills. I have no idea what this means. Christopher, we're having what's the name of this pancake house?
Old South Pancake House?
Old South Pancake House, which has a J in it, according to his typing.
Okay. I have fat fingers.
Okay. It's in Fort Worth. It's at 10 a.m., 1509 South University Drive. Again, that's on Monday at the Old South Pancake House. And I love pancakes because it has the word cake in it. So, and y'all know I'm all about cake.
That's at Interstate 30 in University.
Oh, at Interstate 30 in University. Thank you. Thank you. And so we will be there, and I look forward to seeing everyone there as we enjoy pancakes. So, all righty. Susan, how will you handle the mudslinging that will be done by the Republicans if you win the primary? I couldn't handle it myself. I feel like you're made of stronger stuff. Susan, as I've gone through my 50 years in life, they can sling all the mud they want. We are prepared for it. We know what mud they're going to sling. We know what they're going to attack us with. and they can attack us. What we're going to keep doing is talking about what matters to Texans and let them have their little mudslinging contest by themselves, because I've had worse thrown at me, and the Republicans can't throw anything that hasn't been thrown at me before. So my thought to them is bring it on, because we're still going to talk about the issues and speak to the issues and speak to the solutions that Texans actually need, and not worry about all the mudslinging that they're going to do. $43 million war chest that Abbott has, he can throw all the mud he wants. I've had mud thrown at me before, and here I am. I'm still walking and I'm still going. And so bring it on. We're ready. So thank you very much, Susan. But yeah, they can't throw anything at me that I can't handle. So thank you.
Here, cake.
Oh, king cake. Yeah, we have king cake. We had some wonderful supporters of their campaign. They actually brought gumbo up to the campaign office here, and we have cheesecake, and we have king cake, and everyone's eating, and I get to eat when I'm done. So I have 39 minutes until I can eat. Not that I'm counting. All righty. But I do want to thank everyone that brought this up here, and I look forward to. Oh, and they have bread too. Oh, okay. I may have someone just step in and do Ask Jeffrey live for me, so I can go eat. All righty. Let's see. I'm reading the notes, y'all. Justin said, if you missed out on getting tickets to the sold-out SMU Democratic primary gubernatorial debate, we're doing a live drawing. Oh, yes.
Next week.
Next week. Okay. And we have 2 VIP tickets that you're actually going to be sitting with the Jeffrey for Texas staff at the debate. So next week, tune in, and we're going to have a drawing for everyone. If you want to be part of the drawing, you do hashtag Rise for Texas in the comment section. Next week, you can do it now if you want, but it won't count. But then, what's that, Justin?
Then you then share the live feed and post it.
And if you share the live feed, then we will actually have a drawing, one drawing, and you get 2 tickets to the debate. So if you're interested in the debate, because it is sold out, make sure that next Friday, and we'll explain it again next Friday, that you do hashtag Rise for Texas, like the video, and then share the video. And then we will do a drawing, and you will be sitting with the Jeffrey for Texas staff, which we have primo seating. So tune in next week. What can you say to Hispanic voters in Texas to differentiate yourself from Lupe? Sorry, my screen jumped when I was halfway through that sentence. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for that question. You know, when we have been down to the valley, especially McAllen, Brownsville, Laredo. We've been there multiple times now, El Paso, and all points in between. And the conversation that we're having with them is, and this is their sentiment as well, they're not voting on who shares the same ethnicity, who shares the same race, who has the same gender. What they're voting on is someone who is progressive, that has a path to victory, someone who is staffed, ready to take it to Abbott, that represents their values, and that's what they're looking for. And so, you know, they're motivated now, especially with what we have in D.C. By the name of, the man who lives in the White House. I really don't want to say his name. It's been a Good Friday. So, you know, it's interesting because people are men and women of different races and ethnicities and across the spectrum. They're not voting this time based on, oh, well, there's a woman or there's a man or there's a black person or a Hispanic person. They're voting on who represents me and who has my best interests at heart. And that's what's been so wonderful as we've traveled. They're looking at the entire campaign and the path to victory, and the fact that someone is going down there and listening to them and listening to their needs and what their desires are. what their concerns are, and listening to how we're going to solve these issues. And that's what's important. And so, pardon me. So knowing that we've been speaking with the Hispanic community and the Black community and the LGBT community and, all the communities. And when you look at it at the end of the day, we're speaking to all Texans, because at the end of the day, we're all Texans, and that's what people care about. So thank you very much for that question. And let's see, we are facing an opioid crisis in our nation. What can we do to support Texans going through this struggle? Shirley, thank you so much for that question. We are having an opioid crisis. We need to ensure that we have the care that is funded, and we need to ensure that there's accessibility to programs to assist individuals who are going through this process. I was asked this at the State Tejanos meeting about the opioid crisis. Many of the people who are who have been not a part of, but have been with this addiction have already have jobs. They're successful, and then they went to the hospital for some reason, or they had surgery and they were prescribed, received a prescription, and continue to use opioids. What we need to do is make sure that they have a path to recovery, but also for those individuals who need it, and because there are a segment of the community who need it, that when we offer this path to recovery, we're also offering a path if they don't have job training, if they don't have a path to, once they're tackling this issue of being a productive citizen and being able to get back on their feet, that we also provide those services for them as well. I believe that it's a multifaceted solution, that we just can't get someone off the addiction and then expect them just to keep going. We need to be there for the full recovery. And part of that recovery is getting them back into the workforce. So we need to actually fund that as well. So thank you for that question. But the main thing, Shirley, is we need to fund it. And that's just what we're not doing. And I believe that we actually, the major part of this issue is prescription companies, pharmaceutical companies actually push this. And if we had an attorney general who wasn't so busy in court himself, maybe we could have an attorney general that would actually go out there and kind of like what we did with the cigarette companies, get out there and sue the pharmaceutical companies because they knowingly push this drug. And let's see what we can facilitate from them in which to fund these programs. So thank you for that question again, Shirley. Let's see. I'm reading legalization, Heather. I'm assuming you mean legalization of cannabis. And if that is what you're speaking about, then yes, I am for the legalization of medical and recreational cannabis. And all taxation and revenue from that would go towards education. And I believe that most people don't realize this, but in Colorado, other than individuals who live in Colorado, the biggest user of cannabis in Colorado are Texans. So we are, again, just like we do with the casinos, we're leaving a large part of our revenue in another state, and we need to bring it to our state. So Heather, if that's not what you were speaking about as far as legalization, if I answered the wrong question, just let me know. Let's see. Heather, more than medical or more accessible medical? Yes, and when I say for medical marijuana, medical cannabis, a doctor needs to be able to prescribe that to their patient, and period, end of story. We don't need to just limit it. I think right now it's a form of epilepsy that if you have this one form or one type of epilepsy, then you have access to it. But we need to open up the market. I know there are many veterans who have PTSD that would actually benefit from the use of medical marijuana. So I'm a proponent for a doctor being able to prescribe medical marijuana if they and the patient decide that it's the best avenue for them to take. So thank you for that. Do you support an amendment to the state constitution to develop an independent redirecting commission to end partisan Oh, yes, redistricting commission. Yes, and actually I've spoken about that before in previous live videos. But yes, we need to take it out of the hands of the legislature because, and let's face it, when the Democrats were in power, we were doing the same thing. We just weren't so blatantly obvious about it like the Republicans have been. But we were just as guilty. So we need to actually look at, there are a couple other states in the union that actually have that already in place, and it works out well. So we need to follow that same example, because I do believe that voters should be choosing their representatives. Representatives should not be choosing their voters. So yes, I am all for that, and I will advocate for that and push that wholeheartedly. Let's see. Monica says, for some reason I can't hear. Is everyone else hearing me okay? Just let me know. I'm not sure why. I want to make sure that I just want to make sure that y'all are hearing me. So let me know. Lewis from Duncanville asked, are all your dogs rescue dogs? Actually, all but two. Sergio, when we met, wow, it's over 5 years now. When we met, he had his two schnauzers, but they were not rescues, but the other 9 are rescues. So, but thank you for that, Lewis. So yes, y'all heard me right. 9 plus 2, we have 11 puppies. So they're all small miniature dachshunds, miniature schnauzers, and then there's one. Her name's Stella. She's an American bulldog, and she's a horse. I think I could actually put a saddle on her and ride her in a parade. And she's only like 9 months old, and she's huge. So yes. Let's see. Other people are saying they can hear me. So Monica, I'm sorry that you're not able to hear me, but other people are tuning in on my screen and letting me know that the transmission is fine. So I apologize that you're not able to hear me. Let's see. Where do you stand on prison reform? Well, first of all, we need to deprivatize prisons. Prisons should not be a for-profit business. Because in order to make a profit, what do they need? Prisoners. And last time I checked, the state was not in the, we weren't out to create a bunch of prisoners. We're supposed to be assisting people and to be brought back to the state, and we need to deprivatize them. And when I am governor, I will work to get them deprivatized. So thank you for that question, Matthew. I truly appreciate it. Carol, thank you for joining us. Jana, thanks for the signs. I'm giving them to my WIT friends, of course. Glad you got them. Casinos would be wonderful. I believe they would be too. And again, it's creating jobs, and it's creating a wonderful revenue base. And it's also creating another form of revenue, which is the taxation on winnings, as well as the, pardon me, the taxes that we receive from employment taxes and such like that, the state receives as well. So thank you for that. Heather, perfect. Okay, so Heather, I answered your question. Very good, thank you. Communities of interest is important in redistricting. Yes, I agree with you very much. I can hear you fine. Susan said she could hear. Good. Legislature holds committee hearings for community of interest testimonies from public. I agree, but at the end of the day, as many hearings as they may hold, they're still going to redraw a district, and to the point that they will connect any spot they can in order to make sure that they stay in power. And so we need to take it out of their hands. I do believe that we still have to hear from the community to ensure that we are sending representatives, but who represent that community. But at the same time, we need to make sure that districts are fair and that people are being represented. And right now, the system is just horrid. When we've traveled the state, believe me, we have traveled the state. We have seen some of these districts where they make they're just asinine. I mean, they're so completely misdrawn in order to, I mean, one looks like a big jalapeno pepper. I don't even know how I don't know what they were drinking that day and drew a jalapeno pepper on a map and said, oh, look, a district. It's just, you can't do that. They're going through neighborhoods and connecting all these dots, and no, districts should be fair and they should be competitive. I do believe that a district should be competitive so that you almost have a 50-50 ratio as far as how people are going to vote. And you have to get out there and you have to earn the vote and get your people out there. So thank you for that. I guess I need to scroll up. Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay. Well, I scrolled up and everyone can hear me. What will you do for transgender folks using whatever bathroom they identify with? What is your plan that most can agree with? I have no problem sharing a bathroom with anyone. Claudia, I appreciate that. What we need to realize is before this whole bathroom bill came up last year, individuals who were transgender were already going to the restroom that they identified with. And there was no issue. They just created an issue out of an issue so that they could appeal to their base and create fear and to make people start worrying that grandma was going to get accosted in a restroom by someone who was transgender. And, the number of cases of transgender individuals committing assault in a restroom is zero. My thing is we have real issues in this state, like education and like healthcare and gerrymandering that we were just speaking about. We have so many real issues that all these issues literally are in the toilet. And the only thing our governor can come up with is being worried about who's sitting on a toilet. And, we need to concentrate our efforts on the real issues. Now then, the governor actually has less power than the lieutenant governor does, but the governor can set the tone and the agenda, and he also has, or she would have the bully pulpit to ensure that things like the bathroom bill did not come back. And I will tell you this, if Abbott and Patrick get back in office, that bill is coming back. I actually had someone say, well, they were glad it went away. And I went, it didn't go away. It will come back. And if you put Abbott and Patrick back in office, it's coming back. And, and to think otherwise is just burying your, head in the sand. And so we need someone that's actually going to go down there and work on the real issues, which is what I have been promoting since we announced last July. And as we've traveled the state, let's concentrate on the real issues and allow individuals to use the restroom that they identify with, and be done with it. I always use the example, many of us have been to large stadiums like football games or soccer games or whatever, and baseball. And the women's line is always, about 42 miles long. And the men's line, there is no line. And I have been in a men's restroom before, and a woman has walked into a stall to use the restroom. I don't care. she's doing what she's got to do. You know, this is nature, people. Everyone has to use the restroom. So, you know, they come in there. I don't get offended. I don't care. Just do what you got to do. And let's get out. Let's go back to the game. Let's get back to life. You know, this is just something we all have to do. So, all righty. But I will also, just on a side note there, when it comes to the LGBT community, when it comes to any community, any form of discrimination that is passed by the legislature, which I'm hoping that, you know, the best scenario is that I build relationships with those in the legislature so that we don't have to, I'm not forced to veto a bill, but I will veto a bill immediately if it is in any way, shape, or form a way of discriminating against any particular person, group, however it may be. But the goal is to get in there, and as a mediator for the Department of Labor previously, before I moved to Dallas, is I have the ability to work with people so that we don't have to reach that point where I have to veto, but always know that I will use that veto if I'm forced to. So anything discriminatory would be vetoed. So thank you for that question. Would you consider signing as well as speaking during your Facebook Live events? I have thought about that. Actually, Hardy, my communication director, has asked me about that. And I will tell you, it is difficult for me to speak and sign at the same time. I can sign or I can speak. Because when you're signing, you're usually about 2 to 3 seconds behind your thought. And it would slow me down quite a bit. And I do apologize for that. I'm not a professional signer, so doing it as I spoke would slow me down quite a bit. But I did say last night during my midnight, I think it was around midnight that I did a video feed, as we were driving back from Bastrop County, that when I took the oath of office, I would actually take it verbally, and then I would also sign it as well. So I do look forward to that. But as far as doing it on my Facebook Live, I'm not a professional signer, so it would take me a while to actually do that. So let's see. What is your position on equalizing pay for women? Oh, thank you for that question. Rick Perry, and I apologize that I don't have the bill number in front of me. I forgot the bill number, but it was back when Rick Perry was actually the governor, and he actually vetoed the bill that would equal pay for equal work. And I would actually, and it had support in the House and the Senate, but it didn't have a supermajority. So when he vetoed it, it was not, they weren't able to override his veto. So I would bring that bill back because I do believe that equal pay for equal work, and it should not be based on gender or any other item that you may put out there, race, ethnicity, so on. You know, we were looking at a study last night that women are making in the higher 80s, but it's like 88% of what men make. However, if you're a Black woman, you actually make around 72% of what men make. And if you're Hispanic, you're actually around 61% of what men make. And so when you start breaking it down, yes, the disparity is even worse than what we would think. So with that said, we need to bring that bill back, and then we need to enforce it, and it needs to have teeth. And so I look forward to bringing that bill back to the legislature and asking for a revote so we can get that voted on. So thank you very, very much. Sorry, y'all. I gotta scroll it up a little bit. I don't know why it stopped scrolling. Let's see. Anyone in Navarro County who would like a yard sign, message me. I have a few left. Okay. Oh, thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. Monica is who we met yesterday. She was the one that asked me about Light Up Texas, And Monica, I don't know if you had already logged in, but I did speak about Light Up Texas and that we needed to bring it back. And that, on a side note, if anyone wanted to make it into a Christmas festival, I would join them in making it into a Christmas festival. Monica was the one that asked me about that, y'all. So Shirley says, with the current divisiveness in our government, what experience do you have in uniting groups so they can work together for the greater good? Shirley, thank you for that. When I was in Louisiana, I was actually with the Department of Labor with the EEOC division, and I was the lead mediator with them. And as a mediator for years with them, you actually bring in parties who don't agree. And you find, any mediator knows that the first thing you do is you find common ground, because you can't build from there into a consensus or to an agreement until you find common ground. And so as a mediator, I know that I can bring in, because everyone has the right at the table, and you bring in all the parties and you come to, you realize your common ground. You come to an agreement on what your common ground is, and then you build from there. And that's what you need in a governor. That's a leader. Right now we have a governor. I mean, everyone is aware that during a special session and regular session, if I'm not mistaken, he made a list of enemies. That is not a leader. You don't make a list of enemies when you're the leader. You bring people in. You give people the time to be heard. They may not get what they want, but they still need to be heard. And, and sometimes, let's face it, you may have a 99% bad idea on the other side of the table, but 1% of it was actually good, or it may be even more than that. So what we need to do is recognize that everyone should be heard, find common ground, and then build from that. And my experience as a mediator is extensive, and I know that that's the type leadership I would bring as the governor. So thank you for that, Shirley. Let's see. I don't know why I'm having to physically scroll, but here we go. Will you be visiting San Angelo or Abilene? Heather, we were in San Angelo. We've been there twice now. I know we're coming back, but I don't have the date. I apologize. But Heather, we have you online here. And as soon as we hang up, I will get Lewis, who is my field director, and he will let you know when we're going to be there. You can always find out where we're going to be on our website. It's on your schedule, right, Justin? Or calendar? Events under the event tab, and see where we're going to be. I know that we're creating and getting multiple events even now before the primary. So it's being updated daily. So keep following us. Also on Facebook, we list our list of events as well. But if San Angelo or Abilene is not up there yet, it will be up there shortly. Because I know they were working on us getting down there again. So Heather, thank you for that. But I'll have Lewis reach out to you personally and let you know when we're going to be there in either of those locations. Let's see, Liz, I trust my trans friends. They're amazing people. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. I have trans friends as well, and they're incredible people. And at the end of the day, they just want to use the restroom, All righty, Deborah, how will you as governor fight 45 trying to put his stupid wall on our border? Deborah, thank you for that question. First of all, I believe that what he is not understanding, and when I say he, I'm speaking of he who shall not be named, the guy in the White House. We are a property owning state. We love our property, and we don't give it up just because we want to. The eminent domain lawsuits that will come out when he tries to put up his, as you put it, his stupid wall, which I like that. The lawsuits, we will be tied up in court for years. And not just the lawsuits of people who own personal property, but the lawsuits that are going to come from the state when he tries to put this through some of our parks. Because again, if we had an attorney general who wasn't worried about his own lawsuits against himself. And we had an attorney general that would actually fight for Texas. You know, I don't want walls built in these natural habitats, which would kill the natural habitats. So, yeah, it's going to be a long time. But as I've said, when it comes to being a governor, especially along the border, it's time you had a governor who went to D.C. and instead of doing photo ops and fundraisers, you had a governor go up there and knocking on doors and beating on heads if he needs to get things done by the federal government for our state, such as proper Hurricane Harvey relief, and the EPA cleaning up the mess that is now down there. You know, with the Superfund sites but he's going up there and doing photo ops and $1,000 a plate dinners. You know, I am going to go to DC, yes, and we need to not only work with our own state, our own U.S. Senators and representatives, we need to work with other U.S. senators and representatives to build a consensus. And that's what you need as far as a governor, someone that's actually going to go up there and get something done, and let Texans' voices be heard in D.C. Because right now, between Ted Cruz and John Cornyn, it depends on the time of day on who I think is just the worst. So let's get up there and let's beat on some doors and beat on some heads and let's get this done. So thank you for your question about the stupid wall. For the rest, that made my Friday. I will tell you, Deborah, that made my Friday. And I'm going to call it the stupid wall for the rest of the day. But thank you. I hope to see you again in Wood County at the Democratic meeting next week. Will you have any signs, bumper stickers, or shirts with you for purchase? Susan, Wood County, I'm going to have Christopher. Christopher, I know you're listening. If you will let me know on my side box over here on my computer when we're going to be in Wood County, I would appreciate it. And yes, my car always has four things. One, Lewis, who drives me. Two, me. Three, our luggage. And four, all the marketing that we can shove into that car. So yes, we never leave home without our signs, bumper stickers, buttons. In fact, I have it all here. We have buttons. We have bumper stickers. We have our yard signs. I don't know if I can get that in the whole picture. There we go. We have yard signs. We have T-shirts. We have hats as well. If you're a hat person, we have hats. So yes, we never leave home without them. So we have wristbands too, the blue wristbands. So we have all of that, and Christopher will let me know.
It is February the 22nd, Thursday, February 22nd in Wood County.
Oh, Thursday, February 22nd in Wood County.
At the Quitman Public Library.
At the Quitman Public Library, and we will have everything. And also we have mugs, see, and they're blue on the inside. So as you drink your coffee, you're reminded that you're a Democrat. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad no one put coffee in there as I tilted it right at my computer. And also we have our tumblers. So, I will tell y'all this, don't do what I did with mine. I just took the little piece of paper out, filled it up with coffee the first time, washed it out first. The coffee had a funky little taste to it. So, but I was in a hurry. So I will suggest you do that. But Susan, so it's February 22nd. We will be down to see you, and we will have all of that merchandise for you. So thank you, Susan. And then Carol, gerrymandering should be a way for a computer to be programmed. There should be a way for a computer to be programmed to set the districts the next time it is done. Maybe all the states could do something along those lines. Many states are already doing that, Carol, and that's what I'm a proponent of. You take it out of the hands of the legislature. It's a nonpartisan group that actually puts it together by use of electronics, like a computer, so that we are using the 2020 census. That's why it is so important that we get out and vote in 2018, because the redistricting will be done, and we will more than likely pick up a lot of seats for for the House and pick up districts because of our population growth. So with that said, 2020 is huge for us because that's when we're going to be redistricting yet again. And so that's why I'm a proponent of this. This is why one of the thousands of reasons we are also pushing for and running this campaign, because we need change and we need to make sure that your voice is heard and that you decide who your representative is. And again, not your representative deciding who their voter is. So thank you for that. What about someone behind you citing? Oh, well, that would be good. I should work on that. I'll call Lilith. Lilith is a dear friend of mine. She's a professional ASL interpreter. So that's a good idea. I will.
She was on your announcement rally.
Yeah, she's on my announcement rally video. You can see her if you're looking at the screen. She's on to my right, but left of the screen, and she's a wonderful individual. And I will speak with her about that. So thank you, Claudia. I will do that. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting messages all across my screen now. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Christopher let me know that the equal pay bill was House Bill 950. It was vetoed in 2013, and they didn't have the votes to override it. So I will bring that back, the equal pay bill.
Definitely have the infrastructure.
Yes, yes. Justin just said that I definitely have the infrastructure, because believe me, I've got like so many things on my computer right now, and with people telling me, okay, here's your questions, here's this, here's that. So I have an incredible team, and I will say we got a compliment last night when we were in Bastrop. They were complimenting our team, and she said, "You brought more people than I've ever seen." And I was like, well, I do. I have a really good team, and we have the infrastructure, and that's very important. If you're going to run a statewide campaign, you better have it together, and you can't say you're going to do it next month or after the primary. The time to have your team together was, well, last July when we had ours together. So you're behind you're way behind if you don't have your team together by now. In your marketing and your policies, your solutions. I challenge anyone to go against us when it comes to preparation for this campaign. No one holds a candle to our campaign. And yes, I'm biased on that topic. Let's see. Love the mug. I'm going to try and bring some relatives and friends. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Susan. Susan will be there. Well, I look forward to seeing you, Susan. So thank you. And yeah, the mug is cool. I like the mug. So let's see, Heather, hashtag Payne for president. Yeah, you need to speak with my husband about that. But I will tell y'all, when we first started speaking about this, Sergio said, I better never see you on a national ticket. And I was like, well, let's get through the primary first, the state primary. And but I think he's warming up to the idea now. So he may allow that, but we'll see. We'll see how March 6th goes. But y'all, in all honesty, we know March 6th there's going to be a lot of surprises that night, and we're looking forward to it. And it's all because of y'all and y'all's faith in our campaign, and I truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. Let's see. One essential way to garner support from a particular minority is to respect their history in the state. How do you feel? Sorry, I have to scroll. How do you feel about more accurately representing Hispanic Texan histories in our textbook? Well, actually, we do need to. And that's why when we are doing our textbooks, we need to, when we're speaking about, I don't care what the subject is, whether it's history or science or whatever it may be, we need to bring in the professionals, which in this case would be the teachers, so that we can actually, and professors, even at the college level, so that they can assist us when we are writing our textbooks to ensure that they are, one, accurate. I just met with a teacher who actually told me that until last year, last year, this school year, they finally got new textbooks, but Osama bin Laden was still alive in their textbooks, which is unacceptable because I think Osama bin Laden was taken care of 5 years ago.
Something like that.
Yeah, and he was 5 years later, he was still alive in the books. So we need to make sure that our history books are updated and that they're accurate. But also we need to promote the history of Texas when we are speaking about Texas and the Hispanic community and other communities who have been part of the Texas history, the rich Texas history, that they're represented and that they're represented accurately. So thank you for that. I truly appreciate that question. And yes, we just need to bring in the professionals and ensure that our textbooks are accurate. So thank you for that. I had to scroll up. Where do you stand on the Texas bullet train from Dallas to Houston? Please bring that bullet train. I wish we had it now. You know how much campaigning I could do, more campaigning I could do if we had the bullet train? Yes, we do. I am a supporter of the high-speed rail, the bullet train. What we need to do is we have some issues with eminent domain that we need to work through. However, I am a proponent of it and believe that we need it not only from Dallas to Houston, but Dallas to Austin and onward down to San Antonio, as well as to El Paso, and then creating one from Houston to San Antonio to El Paso as well. So we're making that triangle. Yes, I'm a proponent of it, and it needs to happen sooner rather than later. I'd appreciate it if it was up and running by next week, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yes, will Andrew White debate you? From what I understand, he will be there on the 20th of February at SMU. I know he confirmed for that. He did cancel the one on the 17th once Lupe had dropped out, and I was the only one left standing. And again, I couldn't debate myself. Well, I could. It would be entertaining. But as far as I know, he is not withdrawn from the 20th of February SMU debate. So hopefully he will be there, because I do look forward. I think we need to speak about the how we both see Texas moving forward. My being a very progressive Democrat, and he's more conservative Democrat. And I believe that we need to put our boots on and stand up for who we are as progressives. And that's the direction this party needs to go in. And I'm tired of the debate and even the thought that a conservative Democrat would sway more Republican voters. Republican voters don't sway to the left. They don't swing to the left. They swing to the right. And what we need to ensure is that Democrats get out and vote. We're just not voting. And so we have what we call the 254 plan, which is strategy, which is all 254 counties, and engaging every single Democrat across the state so that we get out and vote. When we vote, we win. And that's what we have to work on, and stop trying to think that we can attract enough Republicans to actually win this election. That is not how you're going to win this election. Yes, I have spoken about how I have personally met Republicans along the trail, but I'm not going to meet 1 million Republicans that are going to switch over. So let's stand up for who we are. We are progressive Democrats. We stand by our beliefs. And I was just told that I am 5 minutes over, and I am. Just like when I'm on the road, I could just keep going and going and going. However, we're going to end this session of Ask Jeffrey Live. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Remember, next week during Ask Jeffrey Live, we are actually going to give away to one person 2 tickets to the SMU debate, which is on February 20th. And they are VIP tickets because you're going to be sitting with the staff of Jeffrey for Texas. And all you will have to do, and I'll say it again next Friday, is you hashtag Rise for Texas in the comment section. then you like the video, and then you share the video. And if you do all three, we'll put your name in a hat and we will draw and see who will be joining us and our team for the SMU debate, which, by the way, is sold out. So this is the only way you're going to get tickets to the SMU debate, so you can watch it live. But for those of you who can't watch it live, we will actually be live streaming it on our Facebook page and live tweeting. Thank you. I'm not big on Twitter, so I don't know the proper verbiage sometimes. So, but thank y'all all again. For those of you, if I didn't get to your question, I will, I'm sorry. I will make a list and I'll answer those next week, or I may answer them on the road. Tonight, I'm leaving for Alice.
Yes, sir.
Alice, Texas, I think. Yes. I'm leaving tonight. All I know is I packed the bag and was told to get in the car. So I believe I'm headed to Alice. We'll see, you know. But wherever I'm going, I look forward to it. So, or maybe I'm going to San Antonio. I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to do the community forum there.
Oh, I'm going to Bear County. Well, there you go. Alice is another day. But I look forward to seeing all of you, and thank you so much for joining us today. And again, if I didn't get to your question, I will get to it next week. And y'all take care and have a wonderful weekend. Be careful this weekend. I believe it's supposed to get up into the 70s, or maybe that's where I'm going. I don't know. But y'all take care, and I will see all of y'all very, very soon. Bye, y'all.